silver. Is the gold play button real gold? If only I knew someone who was willing to destroy their play inside of this electron microscope. What do you say we toss it in here and see what it's actually made of?
It's funny because my thing's been cut in half. You'd think that I would be okay with it, but just as long as it doesn't like turn it purple or like blue or something, I'm good with it.
I can't promise anything, but let's do it. This thing is so heavy. Jeez.
Look how dirty it is.
Looks like you cut it right along that screw line there. Alright, so here, this is the electron microscope part of this microscope. You can see the electron beams comes out of that little silver thing right there. And then what tells us the makeup of the actual item inside is this part right here. And this is the energy dispersive X-ray spectrometry gizmo. And that tells us what the play button is actually made up of. Well, let's put it in here. And we are good to go. All right, Dan, your play button is now inside the machine. How do you feel?
There's no turning back. This is legit here. I'm a little nervous.
Inside of this machine, there's a vacuum, and it's sucking all of the air out because an electron microscope can't work in normal air. There needs to be zero air for it to function. And this is a live feed of different cameras inside of the machine. So this is top down. You can see kind of the arrow of the play button there. This is a side profile, and this is a zoomed in shot of the play button itself. And then on this screen, we have a readout of what actually the play button is made up of. So we have this nickel right here, and we also have a little bit of gold. There's a huge chunk of nickel at 15%, and then we have the zinc and the copper. And zinc and the copper is kind of making up like a brass alloy, but on the surface, most of it is the nickel. That it's evenly dispersed across the button. All of the nickel and the gold are mixed together. We're done testing the top part of it. We just barely pulled it out of the machine, and I'm a little bit surprised that it's not, I didn't see as much gold as I thought there would be. Because right here, show them on the bottom there.
It says 24 karat gold plated, if you can see it just right there. And 24 karat gold is known as pure gold, 100% gold, or 99.9% gold. So
let's flip it over. We'll stick the back in there, and we'll see if it's plated on the back.
The back's not as shiny. You can see it on there. It's just, I don't know, it's just not as shiny. Check the front out. It's shiny, it's glossy. The back just has these scratches on it, and it's flat, so you might be onto something. Oh, and then look at this. You can see the shine comes around the edge right here, but then it's not on this part. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's find out. So right now inside of the machine, we have the back of the gold play button here, and this is the zoomed in portion of that button. And if we go over here to the graph, we still see the nickel, and then here we have the gold, and there's actually a larger percentage of gold on the back of the button than we saw on the front. Very interesting. The machine, we're getting like a lot of different readings inside of it. We're getting nickel, we're getting gold, we're getting copper, we're getting one other thing, and we're trying to like decide whether it's just on the exterior or the interior. The only problem with that is that the button is too big for the machine. So there's no way to get a reading of this cross section inside of that thing. So I'm going to try to shave a little bit off and see if we can get enough of the sample to make it work. So I just took a small fragment from that little screw hole there, and we're putting it on this tape right here, so it'll go on the machine. That particular fragment is from the center of the gold play button right here, so we'll be able to see what's inside of the button instead of just on the surface. There's that itty bitty sample inside of the big machine, and we are ready to go. Here's the side profile of it, and we got the beam coming down from the top. Samples here. This is the super zoomed in electron microscope image of it, so you can see all of the detail. And if we come over here to this monitor, so the inside of the gold play button is copper and zinc, and there's actually no gold on the inside, so we know that's all part of the coating. The two most common elements on the surface of the play button, nickel and gold, are not inside of the button. Wasn't as much gold as I thought there was going to be.
I mean, to YouTube's credit, 24 karat does rub off easily, and I traveled to probably 6 different continents with it, so some of it could have rubbed off.
That's true, because it was in like your pocket and your backpack and everything like that. And also on the front of the button, where it's all smooth and glossy, there was 15% gold and like 85% nickel. But on the back of the button, where there was those ridges, it was actually more gold. And I think that's because, you know, it wouldn't rub off as easily.
Probably. I mean, we did do the part, which I like that we did. We took off that small speck that shouldn't have been 24 karat gold plated. And you got to give YouTube credit, because they could easily send these things out because the metal that they send looks like gold already. But they actually plated these gold play buttons because we saw it in the front, the back, and we didn't see it in the middle. So it's on there.
It's real gold. The gold play button is gold, which is
right.
cool. One other variable that we haven't really thought about yet as well is that the electron microscope, when it looks at the surface of something, it's actually penetrating the surface just a little bit. So that also might be why there's some variance between the gold and the nickel on the gold plate button. So I think it would be really interesting to see actually how these things are made and what the process is for getting the gold on them.
Yeah. Can you imagine like going into a building where they make these things and you just have like a pile of like hundreds of gold buttons everywhere?
That'd be so cool.
That would be pretty fun to see.
I would just grab one before I hit 1 million subscribers.
I would just try to find the diamond play buttons and take that home so I can cut it open.